Hey arty friends, so tomorrow is October 1st. That is the first day of Inktober, and I'm participating as I have every year for like the past 6 or 7 years. And this year I am expounding on last year's Lilliputian living theme. I'm doing more Lilliputian world building because Inktober is a great time to do the stuff you want to do and to practice the skills you want to practice. So these are my tools of the trade for this year. I have a Strathmore visual journal in mixed media paper. I used the same type of paper last year and I really liked it. And this is one of the nice hardcover chipboard mixed media books, and it's already been labeled. I also have a couple different water brushes that I'm going to fill with ink. I have it looks like a Pentel Aquash and a Niji or even a Kuretake water brush. They often tend to look the same. I have a Pentel pigment brush pen. I used these last year in Inktober and I fell in love. I have a Sakura Pigma FB. I have a non-photo blue pencil. And originally I was thinking about using rapidograph ink because it's formulated to be used in rapidographs and not clog them. And that should be fine enough to use in water brushes and not clog it. But I think I'm actually going to use platinum carbon ink, and this is formulated to work in fountain pen. So it's another finely ground black pigment ink. So this is the way I think I'm going to go. And I'm going to... in this video, I'm going to kind of futz around figuring out my process, and I'll leave you guys with a sketch for tomorrow's Inktober piece. So since this mixed media journal is 34 sheets, that means I need to do 31 days. I'm going to do kind of my tests on the first sheet just to make sure everything works well together, that my ink is dark enough, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be using the carbon black ink, and I'm going to get an eyedropper. I'm going to figure out a concentration, and then I'm going to make a hash mark where I think it is concentrated enough. I'm looking for a mid-gray because I just want to do kind of simple ink wash, nothing too fancy. I have here a cup of water, my black platinum ink, and several ink droppers. Alright. And I'm going to use a gold Sharpie to make a mark about to where I filled it. Actually, I'll just use the water, the same eyedropper, to fill it all the way up. You could also pre-mix your ink wash solution, and that might be a better way if you really care about getting it consistent. Okay. Of course I'd make a mess. Alright, so the flow is good. It's maybe a little darker than I would like, but I'm going to fill this with water and I'm going to use it to wash it out. And if it won't wash out, then I need to do a less concentrated mix. Does look like we can get an ink wash though. Let's see if we can pick up a little bit so we can even blend out from areas that have had a couple moments to dry. Now we're going to do just kind of a quick style test. And my plan for this is to do my sketching in either non-photo blue or red, so I need to actually grab the red pencil I want to use too. But I'm going to stick with one color, whatever I go with. And I'm going to do the ink wash on top of the pencil sketch, and then I'm going to ink from there after it's had a chance to fully dry. And usually what I do for Inktober is I sketch. So today I'm going to be doing tomorrow's sketch, and I just always do it like that, so that I'm inking in the morning and then I'm kind of drawing in the evening, or drawing after I finish inking, whenever. I did kind of fall behind because I attended a wedding last year, and it kind of screwed up. Driving all that way kind of screwed up my schedule, so there were a lot of days where I was drawing that day's piece and then inking it. But I found that, you know, best case scenario, when I'm working under the working conditions I enjoy the most, I'm drawing the night before, and I also just tend to produce better work when I do it like that. And the only reason I participate in Inktober is A, I enjoy inking things. B, I like challenging myself, doing different themes, using different materials. I work in watercolor for most of my month, for most of my pieces. So Inktober is kind of an opportunity for me to use something a little different than what I normally use. And I've done it for several years. I've released zines out of the pieces. I haven't really found that it helps my popularity. That's not really why I do it. I just enjoy doing it. And I also try to go out of my way during Inktober to compliment and comment on other people who are participating. So it kind of gives me a month where, like, for at least 10 days, everybody's constantly making art. So it kind of gives me a body of people that I can engage with and talk to about their art. Alright, so that is at full strength. And it seems like it dries fairly quick, like I could step away for 10 minutes. Now I just squeezed out some ink over here. I can't always count on having an ideal work surface though. I'm going to be doing Handmade and Bound for a few days this month, so that's going to be like outside in a tent. So I think I should probably go a lot lighter with my ink wash. Or my other option is, instead of dumping this ink wash, I can use this as my, but see, then I'm complicating things too. But I can use it as like my darker tone, and then I can mix a really light ink wash, so then I'll have my blacks, the white of the paper, and then a middle tone. And look, I have another of the same. So I'm going to mark this as my dark tone. Hopefully I will be able to actually tell the difference. I might have to use some washi tape on it, and I need to dump this out. Okay, so we need much less ink this time because this black platinum is really concentrated. Okay, so it looks like it's about half. Alright, let's get the second one going. Alright, that seems a lot lighter. Should be a good. I am so sorry. I don't know where I lost you guys. My phone cut itself off because it's smarter than I am. So I'll catch you up to speed really quick. I know y'all were here when I made the lighter pen. Now I'm just testing it out. I'd said that I kind of wished I'd gone even lighter, but I do plan on doing different ethnicities, so having some options for skin tones is a good thing. I can also, with this one, a little more easily kind of blend it on a plastic surface, a piece of scrap plastic, my desktop surface, you know, whatever. I can find something to use and get kind of mid-tones like this. Okay, so I'm going to have to allow this to dry before I can do my darker color. Alright, so it's not fully dry, but I'm on a time crunch, so I need to move on. Another thing is if you're in a hot environment, these pens are going to leak. And my apartment has decided it wants to be stupidly hot again today. So if you're like in Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, Florida, and your Octobers are just a continuation of summer, or even parts of Tennessee where it's like fall, LOL, what is fall? These might not work the best for you. Just because they have a tendency to get really blobby and difficult to control. But part of that kind of makes it really fun. It makes it more fluid. It makes it more dynamic. So if you're the type who can embrace the mess, this could be a good option for you. Okay, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to outline it using the pigment-based pen and the Sakura FB. But while I'm letting it dry, I decided I want to color coordinate. So I have red, which is darker than silver. So the red is going to be for my darker of the two mixes. I'm going to put it somewhere I'm going to see it, but it's not necessarily going to get in the way of me inking. So I'm going to do one at the bottom, and I'm going to do one on the cap. And hopefully, I mean, I wrote dark on it, but I'm still checking. I still catch myself checking the fill line. This is annoying because it's not even a real clip. Like, why did they design it like that? Makes it hard to use for my specific purpose, and it doesn't have a clip. Okay, so let's hope I'll actually notice that. I used to size my multi-liners, and I would use washi tape to color code that. So, and that worked for years until it got like sticky and gross and peeled up. But I would call that a success. I mean, a penny or so's worth of washi tape, not hard to replace. We can also always layer our ink washes. That's why you don't need like a whole range of values. You can just get away with a couple values because you can always layer. But I'm excited about it. I've never really done enough ink wash in like a casual kind of situation. I've always done it in like a tight controlled situation. So I think this is actually going to be a lot of fun. And for me, that's really what Inktober is about. Making stuff I enjoy, making the sort of zines I would want to read, making the sort of art I like. Because you can't control how other people react. So just make the stuff you want to make, and if people like it, that's great, and if they don't like it, that's great, because you made it for yourself. Oh, also, so we have these like really blobby areas here. These are going to take forever to dry. That's okay. We can speed up the drying process without, let's say we want to keep those blobs. Let's say we really like those blobs. You can just use a paper towel dabbed in the heart of the blobs to just kind of soak it up a little bit. That way they'll dry a lot faster. So that's had a chance to dry. I'm in a bit of a hurry now, which always seems to happen. That's a good test of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly attempt to throw down an inked outline. I mean, a lot of my Inktober is me inking when I can, so this is a good test. I know some artists are able to basically take off Inktober and just do Inktober, and that's cool too. That's why some of them can make really beautiful pieces. If that is not the situation you're in, that's legit, that's okay. Don't compare yourself to them. If you've only got 15 minutes in a day to ink something, that's still valid. That's still, you know, that's still you participating in Inktober. You aren't any less than the people who are doing like a full watercolor piece every day. And a lot of people spend all of September prepping for their Inktober, which I don't really get it, but that's their choice. And some disclose it and some don't. And they don't have to disclose it, but you know, when you're comparing yourself, I would always say don't compare yourself, but you know, some people insist on it. So if you have to compare yourself, keep in mind that your favorite artist may have been prepping for a couple of months. This year, I mean, I don't normally prep. Normally the closest I come to prepping is I figure out the style I want to do it in, and I write some prompts ahead of time. And I do have some prompts. It's not fully fleshed out. And then, like I said, the most prepping I do is I draw it the night before. I'm more of a night owl than a morning person, so a lot of my more creative ideas come in the evening. So doing it the night before kind of helps me produce the best pieces I can with the restrictions we have, with the time limit I have available to me. So and keep in mind, I'm not insulting anybody who preps. I'm not insulting anybody who spent September doing sketches. I'm just saying, for those of you who are new to this or you get discouraged easily by Inktober, just keep that in mind. Like, maybe you're not comparing yourself fairly. Maybe you shouldn't be comparing yourself. Maybe you should just do you. Instead of trying to achieve some impossible standard. And like, I mean, artists lie just like anybody else. There are artists who will claim that they cranked that it's just a sketch, that they cranked it out really quick, when that's not the case. So just like, you know, try to keep that in mind. Try to not compare yourself. So I'm adding another layer of really dark with the pigment brush pen. I hate seeing people beat themselves up over, you know, not even the truth. And I hate beating myself up, and I kind of hate when other people beat me up for not being so-and-so. You can only be yourself. And it's better to just be you and flawed than like a garbage copy of somebody else. I know those are all pretty trite platitudes, but I see this come up so, like, Inktober is like a perfect storm of like everybody's seasonal depression is starting to kick in. Everybody's tired from the year. Everyone's a little bit discouraged because maybe this year didn't go super well. And then they're trying to do Inktober. And they're comparing themselves to all the artists they look up to who have basically been invisible all year because they were working on other projects and they only come out of the hole to do Inktober. Alright, I think that's a pretty good test. I think it's going to look pretty cute. So, I look forward to sharing my Inktober with you guys. I hope you guys will check it out. I have loads of Inktober tutorials here on this channel that you guys can prep with. I have brush inking, I have nib inking, I have fude pen inking, I have all sorts of inking tutorials to help you guys out. As always, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I am actually checking my comments again. It's crazy, I know. And if you really need to get a hold of me, you can always email me or hit me up on Twitter. I don't check my private DMs because I forget they exist, so just send me like a public message and I'll see it and I'll get back to you. I never intend to ignore any of you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope my words of advice hit home and helped a little bit, and I hope I may have inspired you guys this year. Oh, before I say goodbye, if you are doing Inktober, drop a link to where you're doing where you're going to share your Inktober, and I will check it out. If you're on DeviantArt, I don't do DeviantArt. I'll check it out, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be able to comment. But if you're doing it on Twitter or Instagram, I will definitely start following you and cheer you on. And you guys can follow my Inktober progress at NatoSoup. That's for both Twitter and for Instagram. So Instagram.com/NatoSoup, Twitter.com/NatoSoup. So thank you guys. Bye.